Welcome to World of Warships with your host, Brad TC. Hey, I haven't posted any of my battles lately because, frankly, none of mine have been very interesting. Go out, get sunk, or maybe not. Just not a lot of interesting stuff going on. Lieutenant Rusty, on the other hand, had a pretty good outing in the Tier 10 U.S. cruiser, the Des Moines. The thing about the Des Moines, it's the first ship the U.S. built that had auto-loading 8-inch guns. And what that means is it's got a terrific rate of fire. The enemy team is... they should have won this match. They had a slight edge in the tier levels, in the matchmaking. And here's the thing about high tier matches. They tend to be brutal. Very, very great amounts of firepower. Unusually, this one developed into a fight very quickly. Usually there's a lot of jockeying around and waiting for things to happen. As you can already see, and this is about 3 minutes into the match, this Mikhail Kutuzov has found itself split off. It had to dodge the torpedoes, and it found itself pretty much the focus of everybody and their dog. And it's not going to end well for him. And you can see Rusty's rounds starting to find the range. 9 rounds out, 4 seconds, 5 seconds to reload. Yeah, about 4 seconds to reload. And he's just going to pummel this guy. He's not going to get the kill. Somebody else does, as I recall. But it's just brutal. I mean, when you're sliced off in a way you're not mutually supported by your teammates, it's not going to end well. Look at that. Just all the rounds going in. And a lot of rounds aren't hitting because, the Kutuzov's maneuvering as best as he can. The problem with that is the relatively slow turret rotation speed of the Kutuzov means he can't return fire. And so he's down. Next victim, please. Rounds out. The drawback with the incredible rate of fire of the Des Moines is that you pay a penalty. The range isn't as great as some other 8-inch gun cruisers in the game. The other drawback is everybody sees a Des Moines and wants to shoot at it and kill it and take advantage of that. And there goes Citadel, 2 Citadels, and the kill. Rounds out on the Japanese battleship, and I'm drawing a blank on the class name for a moment, and I can't quite read it because the preview screen is tiny. Unusually, he's shooting he's shooting armor piercing at a battleship, but at these ranges he's getting some good plunging fire, and the 8-inch guns will do significant amounts of damage to battleships. Look at all the torpedoes in the water. High tier, long range torpedoes, scads of torpedoes out there. 1, 2, looks like 2, maybe 3 torpedo hits, a couple of shell hits. Rusty's just continuously putting a flow of 8-inch shells onto this guy. He's down. Who's next? You take a look. The fight is pretty even so far in terms of the number of ships lost. The enemy team has 2 capture points. Rusty's team only has 1. So the points, and this is, remember, a race to 1,000 points first, don't look so good. Switch to HE, engage the destroyer. Very difficult to kill a destroyer at long range, even with the rapid firing guns of the Des Moines. On the other hand, every chance you get to put some HE onto one of those guys, it helps. Wear them down so you can kill them later in the battle. The long time of flight means the destroyer can simply maneuver while the shells are in the air, and you're not able to decisively sink them. On the other hand, he's chased them off. He's not having to worry about that destroyer closing the range in and launching his torpedo spread on him. Rusty kind of sees that he's on the fringes of the fight. Time to turn in, go track down the rest of the battle. He had been shooting at Pensacola over here, finds out that he's dead. Fine. Time to move back in towards the heart of the fight. There were only two Des Moines class cruisers built, the Des Moines herself and the USS Newport News. Newport News ended up being the last of the all-gun heavy cruisers in U.S. service. There were several other cruisers, 6-inch gun cruisers and 8-inch gun cruisers, that were eventually converted to guided missile cruisers by deleting the third turret and adding either a Talos or a Terrier guided missile system back there. But the Newport News never had that conversion, and she served all the way up until, I want to say, 1974, and spent considerable time on the gun line in Vietnam, just pummeling North Vietnamese installations, and often spending time off the coast of South Vietnam providing call fire support for Marine operations and Army operations ashore. Still taking a poke at the various destroyers out there. Looks like more than one. And there you go. Nice hit. Took his health down by about half. Again, very difficult to hit a destroyer at that range. But the rapid rate of fire greatly assists. Lost him in the smoke screen. It's all right. We made him a little gun shy about charging in towards a Des Moines class cruiser. And the enemy has a Des Moines class cruiser out there. We're going to see that one a little later on. Rusty's team's starting to charge in towards B. If they want to win, they've got to get some cap points here. Holding on to one isn't going to do it. They're down 438 to 613. The enemy's got 2 cap points. They're gaining points faster than Rusty's team. They've lost more ships, which has cost them points, but they're still gaining points faster and they're ahead. So something has to change here. Rusty's trying to get into gun range of some of these other ships and wants to whittle them down. There we go. There's an enemy cruiser. Not the best angle for getting armor-piercing shots in through there. You're not going to get a Citadel shooting bow on. But still, every little bit of damage helps. And the rapid fire of the 8-inch 55 guns means he's going to do some serious damage. Enemy cruiser's turning. It's going to give Rusty a chance to get some good shots through the belt armor. Doing real damage there. And there we go. A Citadel was all it took to sink him. And on to the next contestant on The Price is Right. Nope, that's not nearly as interesting as this. That's the enemy Des Moines. And this is just going to be a straight up brawl. And it's going to come down to a question of who is the better shot. And I got to tell you, after months and months and months of playing Rusty, the guy has much better accuracy, much better shooting than I do. That's why he consistently does better than me. Another Citadel. And an incapacitation. Took out a turret, I think. That's 16 hits on the Des Moines so far. He's going to ignore that destroyer in close for now because the Des Moines is very dangerous if he's left, if unmolested, if you will, can do some serious damage to Rusty. Again, he's got the same high rate of fire. And we're operating just about at the ragged edge of the range of the Des Moines here. And Rusty's still managing to get consistent hits. Got another cruiser adding its weight of fire. Big hit there. Rusty launches his spotter to extend his range on target, and that's about gonna do it. This should be the last volley. Well, maybe one more. There we go. Toast. Rusty took a pretty fair beating in that, but not nearly as bad as he dished out. Still got half his health. He's used his repair ability. Getting rounds on this. Oh, somebody else finished that one off. That was a pretty devastating hit. It had to be at least 2 Citadels to take him out of the fight like that. Now you'll notice, while Rusty was dealing with the enemy Des Moines in that battleship, one of Rusty's teammates has slipped into B and is capping B. And there they go. They have B, so they're actually gaining points faster than the enemy. But they're still well behind. But they're going to fix that here shortly. Well, pesky destroyers. The last ship on the enemy team. And he is just going to run away, run away, run away. We haven't seen the last of him, and Rusty got a piece of him. But he's smart enough to know he's his team's last hope. What he should have done was gone and tried to prevent Rusty's team from taking the final cap point. But instead, he's going to try and get a couple of sinkings in. And he's going to sink one more ship. It's going to take a little while here for Rusty's team to figure out that capping the final cap point would help a little bit here. And they're gaining points. It's 800 to 768. So they're ahead. It's pretty obvious this is going to be a win, but they do want to go ahead and make this happen as quickly as possible. Rusty's detected. That means our friend the enemy destroyer is nearby somewhere. And there's the enemy torpedo salvo coming in. His target looks like he takes one. Very low health cruiser right there in front of Rusty. And remember, if you lose a ship, you lose points and the enemy gains points. There's the enemy. Gunshots out. He's shooting at that very low health cruiser right in front of Rusty. And he's killed the cruiser. So that shifted the points a bit back in favor of the enemy. Say what you will about this guy, he has done a pretty bang-up job of keeping his battle going. Disappears past detection range. In the meantime, one of the destroyers on Rusty's team has slipped into the final cap point. They have all 3 cap points. No harm in shooting at the suspected location of the enemy destroyer. But Rusty's team is gaining points very quickly now with all 3 cap points. It's just a matter of time. Don't lose any more ships. And this game is in the bag. So that's the Tier 10 U.S. cruiser, the Des Moines. Fantastic rate of fire, decent protection. Nice to have a spotter plane at that level. And the repair consumable to restore your health is pretty nifty as well. It's a neat ship. A little bit short range on the guns. Not enough to complain about. It does tend to be a bullet magnet, though. So Rusty, his team, is won this match, and Rusty did pretty well. First win of the day, 439,000 credits, 7,500 XP, 377 free XP, 160 hits, 5 end caps, 3 sinkings. I missed how many citadels. 2,500 base experience in the top of his team. And he dealt out somewhat over about 110,000 damage points in the course of the match. So not bad, Lieutenant Rusty. Well done.